Okay, microphone's in. Okay, okay, good. Yeah. There's been problems when it comes to the microphone, but now it's fixed. Fixed. It's fixed. It is fixed. It has been fixed. So we're gonna be talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, but and okay. As a Doomsday Prep, things to talk about when it comes to freaking Quantumania. Well, let's figure things out. Like the agenda for Quantumania. Let's write the 6 things about it that we're able to like talk about. Well, eventually, eventually punching the hell out of the director. We can go with that. We can go with Jonathan Majors having a scandal, having a freaking lawsuit, and being guilty for 2 of the freaking charges against him. What else is like wrong with freaking Quantumania? There are crazy ass freaking things about it, right? Yes, Quantumania. Wait, let me show Edge. Alright. Oh, there it is, Quantumania. Yeah. Things to be able to like talk about when it comes to Quantumania. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's see. What do we need to talk about here? Let's go with Scott Lang, right? Whatever it is that it needs to be able to like, talk about Scott Lang and in the relation towards the freaking story. Anything else? Hmm. Let's try a little bit of defending the movie. Yeah, probably I'm like one of those freaking fans who's gonna eat up like most of the freaking Marvel things that like have been brought up. But like for me, like I truly enjoyed. I enjoyed that, man. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for its comedy. Comedy. The comedy. No Luis. No Luis, man. Luis. No Luis. Alright. We're talking about Luis. Anything else we're gonna talk about today? Wait. Ah, yeah. Let me get a little bit closer to the microphone. Okay, no Luis, comedy, Scott Lang. Hmm. Anything about Quantumania? Quantum stuff. Quantum stuff. Real small shit, right? No Luis. Anything else that it's in here? Casey's. Oh, let's see. Kang. Let's talk about freaking Kang. Uh, Scotland comedy, no Luis, Kang. And finally, I because that's what this is, right? And but without Edgar Wright's influence, and we got to see something that is completely out of the freaking direction towards it. Well, completely so far away completely far out of the freaking direction that it's just makes makes this thing crazy as insane, right? Anything towards it is that because Ant-Man, the first Ant-Man is the best freaking Ant-Man still for me. No heists. There's no heist. It's not like there is one. It's like no heist. Well, no, Edgar, right. And one more thing, one more final thing that we're able to like really nail it there. Um, let's see. Let's see here. Oh, let's add some little bit of freaking music for us to be able to like listen to while we talk about stuff. Lanterns. Well, and let's go with Morning Frog. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? I hope you can hear that quite loudly and very chill ass freaking music that we have. Okay. One more thing to be able to like talk about when it comes to it is prepping. Oh, Ant-Man without Edgar Wright's influence, Kang, no Luis, comedy. Well, the comedy in it is just no Luis. There's just no Luis freaking part, right? Mm, other controversies, controversy surrounding the film. Alright, controversy surrounding the film. Alright, let's start with freaking Scott Lang and his freaking character in this situation. When it comes to Scott Lang, the start of the freaking movie, like I've watched. I'm heavily influenced right now when it comes to Phil Mento's Anatomy of a Disaster for this freaking movie, in which we get to be able to like see Scott Lang in a different freaking lens, like having the success of a freaking Avenger, and somehow everybody loves him this time. It's no longer an outcast to freaking society, and he's writing a freaking book. He wrote a freaking book about it as to his freaking adventures as to what it is and what it is now, right? It's like completely freaking changed, which is right a good progression when it comes to his freaking character. And in my freaking defense towards it, it's not like a completely uh straying away from what made Ant-Man Ant-Man, right? Because what makes Ant-Man Ant-Man is just his love for his freaking family. He is there for everybody else. Like he got everything that he ever wanted because there's still progression towards the freaking two films, right? There's no way that would like suck for freaking Ant-Man. He's like one of those freaking guys who like progress his freaking relationships with these freaking people and have like developed further and much more deeper meaningful relationships with each other. Which is freaking shown in this situation that like Hank no longer hates him. He's with freaking Hope. Like it feels like everything is freaking all right and great when it comes to that freaking everything that is going on. But then we get to see him. It's like I think the goal here is like the goal here that they're trying to hit is that We've seen Ant-Man like completely have everything else and being ready or being transported now to be able to like handle much more bigger stakes or higher stakes kind of like villains, which is freaking Kang, right? Like a higher stakes freaking villain be able to handle him. But in this situation, the way they executed freaking Scott Lang or the way they show freaking Scott Lang as to what it is, because he has changed so freaking much throughout the freaking years. He has an Avenger now, his success and everything else. It doesn't seem like he is the same from the first time we saw him as Ant-Man. It's not the same anymore, and we get to be able to see in the new freaking lens as to what it is. It's much more of a father, not freaking Cassie. In this situation, his relationship with Cassie would be like the main freaking glue and something that would be much more explored in this freaking movie, right? Him being an actual freaking father because he gets to be a freaking father now, right? He gets to be a freaking father, and this is his freaking struggle towards being a father towards his freaking daughter, and what his daughter is freaking doing. And what his daughter is freaking doing in this situation is trying to be like him, right? Trying to stand up for the little guy and always being there, but in the risk of being going to prison and all those freaking shit, which he doesn't freaking want because going to prison isn't like a really good freaking thing. But in this freaking situation, he isn't alone in this freaking situation, in this relationship towards freaking Cassie. He has freaking Hank, he has freaking Janet, he has freaking Hope. They have all these freaking guys together to be able to like support freaking Cassie as to what she's doing. And we get to see Hank saying, I would have broken her out, right? And all those freaking things, and have like a lot of freaking crazy ass stuff and be able to like hiding a lot of freaking hiding the pin freaking tech, but him being like concerned as to having a super like some sort of like a superhero kind of like daughter and like integrating her into the superhero freaking life, right? And what she needed to be able to be done because she's still helping out, she's still doing all those freaking things. And then the freaking situation of what's gonna happen now that we're here, like what's the next freaking big thing, or like have you completely stopped like helping freaking people out because this time around that's the freaking entire freaking story about it. That's the entire freaking struggle of freaking Scott Lang in this situation, right? You've reached the freaking pinnacle of freaking helping out, helping people out. You've literally saved the freaking world. Now what? Do you stop like doing these things and do you capitalize on it? He capitalized on it, right? Wrote a freaking book and was like able to have success on it. Like when it comes to his freaking book reading, people were there, people were like listening, and people were like watching and all those freaking things towards him. So that means a lot of freaking success when it comes to Scott Lang in this situation. But somehow there's like a freaking struggle when it comes to it. Somehow it isn't enough, right? It doesn't feel like enough when it comes to the situation, and it comes to uh like the struggle here is like we're showing that it isn't enough, but the way it was shown it wasn't enough. Like there isn't like any freaking kind of like struggle to be able to like push them towards the next freaking big thing as to what the quantum realm is, right? And push them into the quantum realm freaking thingy because it isn't enough to be able to help freaking things. There are a lot of freaking things that we're able to do, but they've integrated this into the freaking writing. We see this in the freaking dialogue. But when it comes to like people watching the same thing, it's just like the story is there when it comes to the freaking dialogue, but we don't. The medium doesn't want just freaking dialogue, right? If it's just all freaking dialogue, then I would rather just read it from the freaking page and not watch it. You see? Uh, that's a freaking problem about it. When and it comes in this situation, what kind of other threats are we going to push Scott Lang into pushing him into fighting freaking Kang the Conqueror and setting up Kang the freaking Conqueror? And this is where I think the lead up to the freaking confrontation to Kang the Conqueror as to what he needs to become or the freaking tension that is needed, there isn't much coming from internal freaking struggle, like coming an internal freaking struggle towards freaking Scotland to be able to like help freaking Kang the Conqueror, other than saving the freaking multiverse. Okay, that's a good freaking saying, but it doesn't like really make it much more unique. It seems like he was dragged into the situation, placed in there just to fight him, right? We don't see like internal motivations coming from freaking Scotland to be able to do anything towards fighting freaking Kang, other than being able to like obviously do the freaking right thing because that's just what it is. There isn't no like when it comes to great freaking movies that I watch. That when it comes to great freaking Marvel movies, there's always a struggle, or there's is this contrast between the freaking villain that they're facing at the freaking right time. That's like when great freaking villains actually rise. Like, well, when it comes to villain freaking problems, the MCU has always like crazy ass villain problems. When they got it right, it's always like I always go back to freaking Infinity War and set the example that when it comes there, right? When it comes there, what there's this thing that connects their heroes to the freaking villain, which is the matter of like having sacrifice. And when it comes to my theory or the way I see it, right? The way I see it, there's a matter of like having sacrifice and putting the sacrifice and putting in the work towards reaching your freaking goals. That is why freaking Thanos freaking won, because he was had this freaking be able to like they were struggling when it comes to like sacrifice. But that was just that. When it comes to freaking Scott Lang, there isn't like any internal freaking struggle that he's holding on into this situation other than his reluctance to having Cassie uh, donning, putting on or like going into the superhero freaking life. And there's like kind of like a little bit of like crazy ass freaking things about that. She has a fucking suit, but it seems like somehow it has been discussed that she has a fucking suit in the dinner table. But when she shows her freaking suit later on, when it comes to the freaking when they were fighting, it says that yes, I have a freaking suit, and it seems like a surprise to freaking Scott Lang that she has a freaking suit in this situation. That would have been a much more crazy as exploration of Scott Lang as him being a father in this situation and trying to become a father when it comes to freaking Cassie and having this struggle becomes the both of them, right? But it isn't. There is no tension when it comes to these freaking two. There is like one, but it's just when it comes to Cassie freaking helping out, right? Like they need to freaking help out. They need to freaking look out for other freaking people because this is happening. Not well. There's this freaking line from freaking Cassie where she says, "It isn't because it's not happening to you. It doesn't mean that it's not happening, right?" And those freaking things. So you need to freaking help out and all those freaking stuff. That's his freaking struggle. And when it comes to it, like a great freaking way to be able to like do this freaking to like tie in into the freaking quantum realm. Why they got sucked into the quantum realm is because Cassie made a freaking Hubble telescope, right? Of what she is, her freaking potential, and what she can do. Because she is taught by the great Hank Pym. She has been taught by the great Hank Pym. She has been trained by great Hank Pym, and all those freaking stuff, right? She has been done by the great Hank Pym, and she can like really be able to like do all this freaking stuff. And when it comes to sending a freaking signal towards the freaking quantum realm, so they sent the freaking signal towards the quantum realm, and in it, there's a signal that came back that got them to be able to that got to them, and they get sucked into the freaking quantum realm. And when it comes to the freaking quantum realm, what are the struggles freaking there? We have freaking Kang the Conqueror as this uh mysterious freaking being until he was revealed, right? He was like freaking mysterious freaking being that everybody is fighting. That they got stuck with. Like somehow when it comes to freaking Janet, she abandoned all these freaking people to be able to live her freaking life, right? And leave them with freaking Kang the Conqueror because it doesn't feel like it's her problem anymore, which is kind of like crazy. Um, in this freaking situation, we kind of like it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to be able to like see. I'm like focusing on Scott Lang in this situation when it comes when they got into the quantum realm. Is he gonna be an overprotective freaking parent, or is it gonna be something else, or are we gonna see something freaking different? We see a reluctant freaking parent as to the strengths of their freaking children. Sometimes it is like that when it comes to our to protectiveness, right? Sometimes we don't understand like they become more than who they are. What they see that we are, right? Because we always see them as freaking fragile freaking beings, but with yeah. We haven't like seen them as they grown into the full, but they're grown into their freaking potential, or like still growing to the freaking potential. And we see this when it comes to the freaking Cassie, and but it's just a bunch of don't get to see that. We don't get to see that freaking kind. We don't get to see much of that. What we see is freaking comedy, right? What we see is freaking comedy when it comes to this freaking guy, reading the freaking minds and reading their freaking minds and everything else. Which is kind of crazy because what makes freaking Scott Lang not want to help out in this freaking situation? What's making him not want to help out when it comes to other freaking people? That's like the freaking question in this situation. That's supposed to be the internal freaking struggle that we get to be able to resolve later on. But in this situation, it feels freaking empty because there is nothing. There is nothing that's driving. It's not being explained to me as to why Scott Lang is not doesn't want to freaking help, doesn't want to help other freaking people other than probably the hint of this protectiveness as a freaking parent because Cassie will freaking get involved, right? What matters is freaking Cassie. If it was written like that, that what matters is freaking Cassie, what matters is her freaking safety, and what matters is that she's safe, she is great, and everything else. But like when it comes to all those freaking things, like putting in her into freaking safety doesn't mean it's hindering her. Like putting her in safety, making her safe is putting her in a freaking cage. That would be like a great ass freaking struggle and a great ass freaking internal conflict between these two. But it doesn't show, right? It doesn't show much. It's just him like saying all this freaking stuff, and we get to be able to have like a gag freaking reel. We get to drink the ooze. We're like drink the ooze. It's very fun. It was very funny. I like it. It was fun. When I watched this freaking movie, I had fun. I had fun because I have freaking low expectations because I wasn't like putting up expectations as to what I wanted to see, right? Because before I even watched it, I was like having like a freaking fun time laughing at the jokes of freaking Guardians of the Galaxy, and probably that's what it freaking needs to take now these days, is to damn your freaking mind so low to like put your freaking standards so freaking low just to freaking enjoy Marvel freaking movies. It isn't like before that it meets the freaking everybody's freaking standards, even if the everybody's standards is that's way freaking high, right? The maybe my standards are way too freaking high. That this is just like lowering it makes me enjoy freaking stuff, and enjoy the freaking movie I did when it comes to the freaking comedy and stuff, especially the Modok ones. And so freaking Modok attacks in this situation, and they got them into freaking prison, right? Got them into the prison, which like it reveals freaking Kang the Conqueror's freaking situation. Uh, and then when it comes to Kang and freaking Scott Lang, there isn't like much connection as to the villain and the freaking hero. It's much more towards Janet. In this situation, it's much more towards freaking Janet as to the freaking struggle because they share a freaking past. Janet helped him freaking Kang to be able to like achieve his freaking suit, with which he freaking conquered everybody. Freaking conquered the freaking quantum realm, right? It was like a freaking conqueror. So that's what he fucking does. And that's what he did. And he did that. He was able to do that. And was really good at doing that. But there is still, like, when it comes to freaking China and freaking conqueror, it's just we see his freaking mind and having to be able to, like, sacrifice all those freaking things. When it comes to understanding, like, I have, like, a freaking questions when it comes to understanding someone else's mind, right? When you understand someone else's mind, do you understand their freaking logic also? Or do you just, what did she see? There isn't a discussion as to what it is that's going on there. Maybe this Kang is the most reasonable freaking Kang the Conqueror, man. Maybe he's the one who's be able to, like, really shove in the freaking things, really create the freaking timeline, right? To really like maybe he's the one that is needed to be able to like win stuff because he, like he said, he's the kind that he needed to be. Like, okay, I'm going to Kang now because no Luis. We're not talking about Luis, like a freaking character when it comes to Ant-Man freaking stuff. But it's just the execution of Luis in like Ant-Man 2. Ant-Man and the Wasp is not, it's not very good, but Ant-Man, first Ant-Man, yeah, that was really good because like it's just Ant-Man without Edgar Wright, man. This is Ant-Man without freaking Edgar Wright. We don't get to see the freaking internal freaking struggles of our freaking characters, internal motivations as to why they're doing what they're doing. If we don't understand why they're doing what they're doing, it's just a bunch of ends, right? And then this happened, and then that happened, and then he got dragged into this, and then it then dragged into that. Even though there are crazy ass freaking things as to what is going on, it does make sound like freaking logically as to what is going on, but it doesn't seem like a great freaking story to be able to like told because they're just dragged into one place into freaking another, and you don't get to be able to like empathize as to the characters as to what they are freaking going through because it feels freaking empty without the freaking things because like all throughout my freaking experience as a freaking movie watcher, that's what I feel like. That's what happens when it comes to me freaking watching freaking stuff. I need freaking internal freaking struggle for me to be able to like really enjoy a freaking movie. And when it comes to this, they're just being dragged from one place into a freaking another, literally dragged into one place into another because like they got sucked into the quantum realm, they got dragged into the freaking ooze, and they got captured and freaking dragged into prison, and then after that, someone needs to be able to like be something, right? But we do get to see bits and pieces about this freaking internal freaking struggle that he is having when it comes to freaking Cassie, right? Because he's still a freaking father, we understand that it is what he wants, right? He just he wants to do things for freaking Cassie, and yeah, uh, in this situation, he got dragged into freaking prison, and then we get to see in the freaking prisons freaking sequence, we get to really see freaking Kang. I think Jonathan Major's portrayal of freaking Kang is like really freaking good. It seems like a very awful freaking villain, and it seems freaking discounted because, well, I kind of disagree when it comes to Phil Mental's freaking take when it comes to Kang the Conqueror, because for me, dialogue is freaking enough. Like dialogue is freaking enough for me to be able to like truly understand the freaking character's motivation, what they're going through, right? Bye bye. Uh, yeah, what they're going through and everything else. But this is like when it comes to freaking Kang in this situation, I do freaking understand what he's going through because the portrayal of the freaking Jonathan Majors' performance is like good, way good enough to be able to like show this freaking kinds of like emotional freaking struggle. Like we see this the facial reaction as he sees, and when he sees freaking Janet touch the freaking ship's core, right? As he sees that Janet touch the freaking core, we're able to like see him freaking the change, the swap of his freaking face into worry and freaking. He's like worried and like concerned and freaking struggling internally when it comes to like what's the proper next freaking thing to be able to do. Then it shows, yeah, it shows in his freaking performance, like, but there's like freaking crazy ass freaking comedy in this situation that this seems fun when it comes to like, are you with the one with the hammer? And it's like, yeah, we get to be. Our physiques are so similar. We get to be. We get to be able to be confused with one another. That one is freaking funny. Um. Yeah, it's like good. Well, it's like there are like so many good enough freaking parts that it just like stretches my freaking mind. Like you need to be able to like do the mental gymnastics for you to be able to like the freaking movie, right? And be able to like stretch this out and be able to like say, oh, it is. You could just conclude that it is the struggle of being a father that what's going on when it comes to freaking Scott Lang in this situation, and that's what's freaking happening, right? Yeah. And we get to see them in freaking combat as to what they're freaking doing in this freaking combat. And we get to be able to like have this interaction between Scott trying to become a mentor towards freaking Cassie. And they have this freaking adventure towards together, right? And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it. I don't think it's gonna deserve like a freaking eight freaking thing or It's the best freaking shit ever, but it is fun to watch. And then and then and then because of the freaking comedy freaking stuff, we just like hop on to freaking Janet and freaking Hank, right? Janet, Hank, and freaking Hope like situation. They split the freaking party within the between primary family members, right? When it comes to Janet, Hope, and freaking Hank, we got to be able to like go in this freaking bar. You have to we need to have like establish a freaking world where like they are under control of probably an authoritarian freaking regime, right? Because people are being rounded up and being forced to do a lot of freaking stuff. There's very tight freaking security and all those freaking things as you watch he's seeing or being shown. And then we go to the freaking bar and we got this. They drank the freaking ooze in this situation too, and have things translated to them. And we don't get to see. Well, we get to see Hank like having like problems when it comes to his like uh his his freaking earpiece as to what he's freaking hearing, but he's hearing stuff, right? And yeah, when it comes to the Hank's freaking relationship when it comes to the freaking ants, it's not enough to be able to like see that it's just oh, it's not noticeable enough, right? For him to be able to like having these freaking aches and all those freaking things when it comes to his freaking hearing. Yeah, and this freaking ship, we get to be able to see Janet's ex. We did wild things, Hank. that, that was freaking funny. We get to see Hank's freaking facial expression. Yeah, those are freaking funny freaking things. It's like flying a bike and all those freaking stuff. The freaking ship like flying a bike. It's freaking cool. So yeah, they got to the freaking ship and they're like they got out and now they're like going to what they call this? Going to the place where like Scott needs to like freaking do where they enter into a probability storm as they explained it. The probability storm is just like having a past freaking selves like, interacting with each other. Like somehow when it comes to probability storm, Scott Lang interacts with his freaking probabilities meanwhile Hope like doesn't. Uh, well, they're interacting actually. They're interacting with the freaking probabilities, but ignore them. Yeah, but he was like able to like get everybody, most of his freaking probabilities to actually work on something because they all agreed. They all want something, right? When it comes to wanting something, they just want the freaking Cassie, but it's just the emotional freaking payoff isn't there. It's like a really good freaking way to be able to like show it, but the emotional payoff for me when I was watching it isn't there. I didn't feel that it kind of emotional freaking payoff, but I do feel the freaking comedy towards the freaking movie, man. The comedy made it much more reasonable. The comedy made me feel a lot more reasonable to freaking watch a freaking movie, right? And so we watched this freaking thing. And yeah, the freaking probability storm, they're able to like get into the thing and then shrink the multiversal core, multiversal engine core. And yeah, and somehow Kang was able to like have it and is ready to freaking transport the entire freaking his entire freaking army towards the rest of the freaking world, right? And like conquer the rest of the freaking world. But in this situation, Cassie was able to like break out. How did she? How did Cassie? How was Cassie able to break out? Wait. How was Cassie able to break out? How did Cassie break out? Well, she was able to break out like one of their freaking allies that they met when it comes to the freaking ooze stuff. And yeah, they were able to do that, and they were able to like get in there. They were able to do that. She was able to break out, and then she was able to like interfere with Kang's freaking transmission. Whatever Kang is freaking transmitting, she was able to like interfere with it. And she was able to like uh override it, and was able to like send a message instead to the freaking people that they needed, right? To their freaking allies to be able to like go there and be able to like save everybody. And so when Scott was like entering and sieging the freaking entire situation, we get to see him do this freaking thing. And then Modoc was fucking funny. Modoc was funny. Modoc is funny as fuck. And what else? Modoc is freaking funny. How he was like shown, I am the ultimate freaking weapon. But he's like a bitch when it comes to freaking Kang. Yeah. Mechanized organism only. Mechanized organism directed only for killing? Driven only for killing? What? What does Modoc mean? Wait, let me Google it. I think this is Bing. Bing is enough. Design. Oh no. No. Our music. My music. Wait a second. So yeah, Scott Lang. That is Scott Lang's freaking activation, and it seems like it's nice when it comes to it. He was able to get out of the probability storm, but when it comes to his struggle in like this freaking fight that they have, when it comes to their fight, when it comes to their fight, when it comes to wait, I'm looping. When it comes to his fight with Kang, it doesn't feel like it's heavy enough or like the weighted enough for whatever it is that they needed to be able to do, right? There isn't like internal freaking struggle added towards it to be able to like really nail in the freaking fight and make them a contrast when it comes to each other. Especially when it comes to Kang's freaking insult by like, I'm not gonna lose to you. You talk to freaking ants and all those freaking stuff, right? It's supposed to be emotionally impactful and really like has to like be able to like hit, but it doesn't hit. And when it comes to this, we got to be able to like see uh Hank like the entire freaking siege towards the entire area. They were winning it, and then Kang came down and be able to like kill the freaking laser guy. And yeah, Hank came in later, very late into the freaking story, with a lot of freaking ants. It's a lot of ants. it's 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 a lot of freaking ants. They were able to like do it with a lot of freaking ants, and those a lot of freaking ants were able to like tear down the freaking Kang's freaking armor, but he's still physically adept. He's still freaking he can still beat the shit out of you. And he was like be able to like he needs to be able to like go into the freaking surface because he's stuck in the freaking quantum realm, right? Because he was banished and exiled because they cannot freaking kill him. He was able to like go into the freaking quantum realm, but nope. Here comes freaking Scott Lang to freaking stop him. As they were able to as they're trying to freaking stop him, they close the freaking quantum realm. Close the freaking quantum realm with freaking Hope came in and save him, save him from freaking Kang because he needs to be a 2v1 because Kang is not freaking powerful when it comes to power scaling, and they were able to like build him and kill him. Yeah, he exploded with this engine core. And this is Ant-Man without Edgar Wright's freaking influence. Without Edgar Wright's influence, there is no Louise. The comedy is much more freaking different. It's the way the action freaking comedy isn't there, you know? The freaking action comedy or the silliness of their freaking action or the way they're fighting isn't there. Unlike in Ant-Man, the first freaking Ant-Man freaking movie, right? It's crazy, insane why how good that was when it comes to the way they freaking fight, how they were able to play with freaking scale and how it affects the scale and what they are and how small they are and what it is doing. Because of that, you can't really do that when it comes to the quantum realm. When it comes to the freaking quantum realm, there are a lot of freaking kinds of concepts when it comes to quantum concepts. They could be able to like go there and be able to quantum freaking shift. I don't freaking know. There's like a lot of freaking quantum phenomenons. They could be able to like teleport and all the for fuck's sake, man. Like quantum entanglement, they were like able to they were like talking about quantum entanglement. They were able to like create freaking teleportation and freaking time travel. Like they could just like be able to like do that in this freaking situation, but they weren't. Well, they were like going into its freaking potential, what they can do if they travel towards the quantum realm, and what the quantum realm does to them. But yeah, probability storm, that is nice. No Louise, I just keep looking at no Louise, and I was like, yeah, this is why there's no freaking Louise, man. There's no Louise. There's the gang is not freaking there, and that is freaking crazy because Louise is like his best friend and something. Yeah, the comedy is still freaking there, but it's not as Then it one of the best freaking comments I said, it's like they the entire freaking cast holding out for this freaking guy, watching this freaking guy pass away. Like have this guy having an entire freaking Modok having an entire freaking moment because somehow Cassie said the most inspirational freaking thing ever towards freaking Modok to change his freaking ways. Uh, don't be a dick. I am Modok. I am not a dick. uh, that is fucking funny. And that is actually freaking funny. Them like holding on the entire freaking sequence. Because that is part of this comedy when it comes to it, right? I am not a dick. That is funny. The way they change freaking Modok with just one speech. That is wow. Wow, truly inspirational. And when he was passing, you were always like a brother to me. Oh my that, that was funny. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Your Avenger. To die an Avenger. They just couldn't be mean to him, man. Oh shit! I freaking died. That was funny as fuck. That stuff is freaking funny. The ooze guy getting shot up and he has all I have holes and then sucks up an entire freaking squad. That was funny. Yeah, but the Modok one, that is the funniest freaking thing. The comedy is so freaking good, man. the comedy carried this entire movie for me, man. The comedy made the entire movie for me. Made me like care less about like the entire freaking plot lines, internal freaking struggles, and all those freaking things. And it made me like, yeah, I really watched it, and I was like, yeah, and truly freaking enjoyed it, and it's like very freaking fun, and it was nice, and like I enjoyed it for the sake of like having freaking fun and all that, right? I lowered my entire freaking standard, and I freaking enjoyed it. I guess that's what you freaking do. Because I'd rather freaking enjoy freaking sub than rather hate it than having a disappointed freaking thing, because I know I'm gonna be disappointed. Like heading into freaking quantumania, I know I'm gonna be disappointed if I put on my analytical brain and be able to like do all those things, right? Because there's no point. Yeah, it's great to be able to do that. It's great to have freaking expectations. It's great to freaking have freaking standards. But sometimes it just doesn't hit that. So like for me, I can still watch a freaking 56 rated freaking thing, except for a 20% rated freaking movie like Electric freaking. It's not as bad as Electric freaking State, man. It's not as bad as Electric freaking State, where like shit, the entire plot is fucked. You know, the at least this one has a plot. At least this movie has a fucking plot that you have to be able to follow somehow. You know? At least this one has a freaking plot. At least this one was freaking released and all that freaking shit. Yeah. I enjoyed this freaking movie. And the way Kang was freaking portrayed, I freaking love Jonathan Major's portrayal of freaking Kang. I wish they would. I wish he didn't have that freaking controversy when it comes to him, because he would have been like a really good freaking villain. It would have been like a really good freaking big bad of freaking Marvel, for have like Kang freaking dynasty and all that shit. And then the controversy surrounding the parts of film. This is when I'm gonna talk about the controversy. Let's talk about the Ching director. Uh, what the fuck happened here? After posting controversial views over the COVID-19 pandemic, Ant-Man star Marjorie revealed she was contacted by director Peyton Reed. Wait, she like I'm in being cancelled by Marvel. According to Evangeline, it was Ant-Man the ones who reached out the doctor despite having ah. I mean, rejected self-isolation practices as the height of the COVID. Self-isolation practices. Some opposed against vaccine mandates led some to speculate the once vaccines would be let go by Marvel. Much in my emotions, relation violence I'm rather picky. Speaking of happy, sad, confused, Ant-Man and the ones when the main star Marjorie David was the first to reach out to her when she was married with controversy of the pandemic. Okay, wait. While breaking down Lily expressed a political person believes with the host John Horowitz out loud when rumors swirling about her being five miles, she got a really supportive phone call from Peyton telling her to just ignore rumors, ditching, canceling her. Ah! Wait, there's somebody that followed. Paddix, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Ah. Alright. We're just gonna be able to like show the freaking controversy when it comes to her views. Do you ever get called by fire being like, I love you, but you can't? No, they're very respectful. Funny. Yeah. What? So it was a rumor? Oh man. Alright. What was her? Yeah, punching the freaking. Alright. I can find a freaking article for that. There has to be a freaking article towards that, but it wasn't. We're not deep diving into the freaking controversy, but there's just controversy surrounding this freaking thing. Well, every time. Oh wait, I forgot about the music. Wait, oops, oops. Sorry about that. Uh, this is gonna be our music. Yeah. Aye. Controversy surrounding the freaking film. You start with freaking Jonathan freaking Majors. I'm seeing freaking Jonathan Majors. It's just crazy insane for a victim to like rush towards their freaking oppressor, right? Yeah, against Jonathan Majors, that altercation that he had, that is crazy. He freaking ran away. She freaking chased him, and then she went and partied. Well, she went with like three other freaking people. Came back into the freaking apartment, passed freaking out. Right, the next freaking day, she's freaking passed out in the freaking closet. That is insane. That is freaking crazy. When it comes to it, I guess like don't like date someone who's like very who can't handle like who like it's like codependency, right? Like she's very very dependent towards him. So whatever it is that his decision towards the relationship or whatever the relationship is going to, she's like heavily dependent on that freaking relationship. Most of her freaking lifestyle probably is like on that and all those freaking things. And kind of sucks. It's like that. Well, the summer frog, yes. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, because it's like yeah, that kind of sucks when it comes to those freaking thing, but it's kind of like that. Anything else? Nothing much. Hmm. COVID-19 did a number towards us, man. Dun, dun. And the remaining 10 minutes of the freaking thing, I'm just gonna be able to like talk about. I'm just gonna talk about stuff. Ant-Man really enjoyed it when I was like freaking watching it. The Ant-Man freaking series is nice, but then, like it feels like forever ago. Like February and July. From July to February feels like forever ago for me. I feel like I'm a completely different person from then because like in the freaking time in the time between February to freaking now, I've been admitted to a rehab and all those freaking shit, and got me to think a lot of freaking stuff. And the meds freaking work, the medication work. It changed a lot of freaking brain chemistry that I'm having. And yeah, right now I feel like a different freaking person watching freaking Ant Man and the Wasp, enjoying Ant Man and the Wasp. It seems like a completely seems impossible for me to be able to like do during back in the day. But this time I was able to like freaking enjoy it and like have fun freaking watching it, and it was like great. And yeah, it's like a great freaking time to be able to do that. And now that I've watched it, it's like nice. It's great. It's fun. Uh, I can't seem to be able to like talk about myself this time around. To talk about my experience when it comes to this freaking movie. I laughed. I laughed, and then when it comes to it, I enjoyed it a little bit, but not like it wasn't something that just wowed the hell out of me, man. I enjoyed it because I wanted to enjoy it. Isn't it, you know? It's like I enjoyed it because I allowed myself to be able to like enjoy it. It's kind of what's one of those freaking kinds of freaking things, and I've never thought I'd be able to like do that to myself. To be able to like be able to just enjoy the freaking stuff that is like with you. You know, yeah, I thank God. At least the movie has been made. You know, At least the movie has been freaking made, and that's like good enough for for a lot of people sometimes. Rather than completely canceling it and just like no longer like sending something out. Kang. Yeah. Controversy surrounding the film. People like really hated it. What is the rating? Is this the lowest rated? I think the lowest rated. Well, this is the lowest rated before. Quantumania is a 6. It's like pretty okay. It's a 6. Oh, let me go Google. I'm using. Rotten Tomatoes 46. Ah, shit. Three point five and loud and clear. 46 on Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes sometimes have like crazy questionable freaking things, man. But I enjoyed this one. 46 on RT. 6 on IMDb. Brave New World. What about Brave New World? Oh, oh no. Alright, what about this? 46 also, but 5.6, much more lower in IMDb. To 2.4 in like Letterboxd. Yeah, this one sucked. This one really sucked. This is the lowest one, man. This is the lowest one. Which is kind of crazy. It's like mediocre after like very awful freaking things. And then Quantumania was like, oh man. Yeah, Quantumania has been. Wait, let's like see. You thought it couldn't get worse. You thought it couldn't get worse. Let's see. Let's just see the Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see how much Rotten Tomatoes hate it. 81% audience meter. Continue without supporting. Fuck. Continue. 46 tomato meter, 81%. Okay, there's like a difference. It's not like we both agree, right? Antman and the ones most lacks the spark of fun that elevated earlier adventures with Jonathan Majors. Kang is a thrilling villain poised to alter the course of the MCU. Yes. It's plus a bit of mess, man. Overall, Antman and the Wasp Academy starts phase with the MCU with a call for creative thrill ride that believe you wanted to see much more of Jonathan Majors as Kang. Yeah. All the fucking review, they all want Jonathan Majors to freaking gang, and then the freaking lawsuit freaking happened, and it was like, ah, shit. Yeah, shit. You know? You know? Yeah, I want to see more freaking Kang. Well, I guess that's just about it, and that's just about it. Thank you guys for coming by the stream. Thank you so much for following. And yeah, that's just the entire freaking thing when it comes to Quantumania. Okay, bye bye. I'm gonna go watch